Welcome to Creative Business Strategies Marketing Alliance and Mastermind Week 7. I'm David Sanders, your host, and we're going to be kicking off today our Marketing Alliance portion of this whole game. So we're now almost halfway through, and I think it's time to get things moving in a direction that will allow us to be helping one another with our businesses in very sensible, common sense ways. We're going to be piloting this, testing it out. And so the next group that comes through this mastermind will have all the benefit of our screw-ups and experience and errors and good successes and all that. So feel free to have all of the above, as many as you'd like. And in the process, we're going to figure out how this thing is done and how we can really flow power to one another and help one another in this whole process. So I've got us rolling here. I would like to introduce the Alliance and Mastermind to those that are a bit new to it. The first point would be, what are we doing here? Well, we're taking the confusion out of marketing, because anybody who's been around very long recognizes that there are at least 150,000 ways to market these days, up from the 150 that I used to be familiar with as an ad agency marketing director in Beverly Hills back in the day. And because we've got this vast number of things that we could do, well, we're going to have to make some choices. And that means that we've got to handle the confusion, and poor information leads to bad decisions. We're going to be giving you the best information with which we are familiar, and as we learn more, we will provide more, and the basic idea is that you'll become brilliant in the area of marketing, and your activities will prosper. So I have two rules for the whole program. One of them is, if you've got a question, we are using Zoom.us, and it's a pretty workable system, and that means that you would when I ask a question, or if you have a question, please text, or you can use my cell, but Zoom chat box is the best way to go at it. That way everybody gets to see what's going on. The second is that if Michael or I or one of the presenters, Joel's going to be doing some presenting later today on an area that we had expressed an interest in and he's done some research on. When we ask a response, please show some form of life. Now, a quick survey of the mastermind. Again, let's start off with a little typing over here in our group chat box. Have you done, started, or have in hand from earlier years some surveys that you believe are still current? If yes, please type surveys. If no, please type blind, because if you don't have survey data about what your customers and your prospects need and want, you are going it blind, what we call blind archery. You know, put on the mask and then start aiming and shooting. So type that in. I've got some surveys. Yes. Surveys, yep, good. Well, this is good, surveys. Well, this is a major improvement over where we started. Gary, yes, good. So that's awesome, and please carry on. Yes, from Melky, awesome. Now next is, are your websites making progress toward being responsive? That means that your website is easily visible and can be handled well by one of these Android devices or an iPhone or an iPad or any of those kinds of things. Please type mobile if you have a responsive website or you're making progress toward that, or type old if in fact your website is not responsive, or where over 50% of the eyes are looking at your stuff, which is right here. You can also put gray hair there if you'd like, or whatever. Good news on this end. Thank you. So wonderful when people actually laugh at my jokes. Hey, you're hired. This is great. But I've got good news, which is that my assistant tells me that we're probably only an hour or two away from my website being, my mobile friendly website being ready to go ahead and put up some of the last photographs and so forth and be ready to roll, ready to rock and roll. So by our next meeting, I should have a whole brand new website. And so we're getting Joel's back. That's good. Let's see. So yeah, Matt's just spoken with his webmaster about that. IP on creating website from Elke. Progress, good, sure. Okay, good. So we're making good progress. And if you're not sure about it, then, you know, one of the ways to do it is just grab your phone and look up your website and see if you have to do the swan ballet back and forth in order to be able to read it. And if so, it's time for a new website. Happy birthday, you get a new website. There is, by the way, a easy way to do this. That is set up a WordPress website, or if you have one already, just go in and look for free themes that are mobile friendly. We're using one called Nirvana, which Tony Rockcliffe, an earlier presenter, had recommended to us. He's got others that he recommends. So if you're interested in getting more recommendations, please let me know, and we'll get you some of that. But we just Google for Nirvana theme, or go into your back end of your WordPress website and type in there under appearance themes, type in Nirvana, and it'll come up, and you can just in a few seconds have this theme up there that is now friendly for mobile devices. And then it's just a matter of moving everything around and making it look pretty. If you have trouble, we've got webmasters that can easily fix that. So that's good. We're making progress on that. Now, how many of you have updated your citations or directory listings on the web? So put cite if you've been working on that or have made some progress, or put unlisted if you have not, and you have no idea what your status is in terms of listing. Because if you're unlisted, you're not going to be visible in a lot of keywords that you would otherwise easily show up in. So we got Joel working on it, Ellen's working on it, Doug's made some progress, Michael he's got his citations down, that's great. Joel's working on it, Elke, yep, working on it. Yeah, and we've made a lot of progress on that here. I think we're almost done, or maybe we are done with my consulting firm, but because I've got several businesses, we still have a lot of work to do on the other businesses. So yeah, still some need updating. Yeah, that's fine. But I just want to make sure we're making progress. And I'm very impressed. This is really awesome. You guys are awesome. Now, anybody either happy with your logo and branding, or you're working on it? So put logo if you're either happy with it or you're working with it. Got plans, you're making progress. Or blah if it sucks and you know it and you haven't taken any action. So type that out there. I get a logo. Good, that's good. Another logo. Lots of logos, working on it. Good, so we're making that good progress. Now, Facebook ads. Tony did an absolutely brilliant Facebook ad program. I think it was number 5. That if you haven't started implementing, you can rewatch that. But if you have started working with Facebook ads, type FB. If you haven't, please type no. And I even put my very first Facebook ad up, and it took, like you sure got some FBs over there. No. I just went in there and put one or two sentences in there and paid Facebook $10 to distribute it. Got it distributed to about 700 people, just telling them I'm going to be promoting something pretty soon. And so for $10, 650 people saw it, or 700. So it's that easy, but to have a whole program and so forth may well be more, obviously more extensive, but that's that. Now, I want to introduce today's presenter. Thank you very much for your feedback, and it looks like the Facebook ads are needing a little work. We'll come back to them perhaps at another time if we don't start getting some action on it. I want to present a friend of mine who I've worked with for a number of years, and I met him in Tampa, Oregon, where we were working on a lot of different activities to help boost Michael up as an individual, and he's made a lot of progress. And he started out as a very amazing guy. He got a background in the Coast Guard, an officer in the Coast Guard, and running a number of different companies, being marketing director of a very impressive companies. Right now, he runs a natural pest control company in Pinellas County, and I've been his client for probably 3 years or something. He does awesome work, and it's highly, highly recommended. And he has a termite sniffing dog, just in case you happen to need some extra help in finding extra others. But today he's going to be talking about some of the successful actions in terms of marketing, because he is one of the most successful marketers that I know here in the small business community, and I wanted to see if we could get some wisdom from what he has been doing, because I think it relates directly into things that we can do to help one another and launch this whole alliance program that is a part of our overall creative business strategies, marketing alliance, and mastermind. So first, kind of the mastermind section, and we'll build on that with how to apply that with our group. So with no further ado, over to Michael Piacenza. Yay, Mike.
Hey, drum roll. Can everybody hear me okay?
They're muted, but I get a lot of yeses over here. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good. All righty. So, the topic of marketing is huge. We could talk for hours and hours and hours on it. But yesterday I was in a meeting with David, and he mentioned that he was going to be talking in the next mastermind about reviews and working together in an alliance, helping each other by reviews. And my ears perked up. This has been a hot button for me for a long time. I have been the president of multiple networking groups, and one of the things that I have just not been successful in convincing people was to write reviews on each other and how important that is. So I shared with David some of the successes that we've had here at Advantage Pest Control. My website is by far the number one most successful action in marketing, bar none. That is it, on top by leaps and bounds. Word of mouth, personal networking is great, but it doesn't even hold a candle to the internet, not in this day and age. So if you don't have a great website, you need to get one. And there's plenty of people within our community that can help you out with that. All the search engine optimization and all that kind of stuff, there's a ton of people out there that are going to tell you that they're experts on it, but most of them really just scratch the surface. You want to really survey your friends to find out who is being successful and who they're using. But I got to tell you, one of the things that is just really catapulting my business over the last few years are my reviews. Now, there's all kinds of reviews. You've got Angie's List. Now people think that Angie's List is exclusively for members only that pay, and that's not true. You can now get onto Angie's List and get information, and you don't have to be a member. They're trying to compete with other companies that are encroaching in their space. So what I did is I paid Angie's List to be one of their preferred people in just a few small communities, because they charge you by the number of members within that community. So I picked 2 affluent communities in the area, Bel Air and Safety Harbor. I think it cost me something like $35 a month. And I'm like one of the top people in those areas that in the searches I come up. But that also then gets me into and being a paid service provider within Angie's List. So then for literally just a few dollars, you can buy little tear-off cards that are personalized, and it says Advantage Pest Control. Here's the link. Did you like our service? Let others know, something to that effect. And then it has the direct link. And then you can take that link and you can use it in your online marketing, so people can just click on it. So there's a bunch of different stuff. I bought stickers that I put right on my invoice, and I tell my technicians, if you're out at a customer and they're happy with what happened, they're happy with the service and with you, then just say, hey, by the way, could you write us a review? And they say, oh, I'm not a member of Angie's List, and say, you don't have to be. And then here, I'll put the sticker right on your invoice. Boom. So that's just one example. The personal reviews that people write on Google and Yahoo and Bing and that kind of stuff, those are huge, and it really, really helps with your rankings. If you go to Google Local, where you show up on the map, you can show up in that top 5, and that's you can't buy that type of marketing. Everybody probably knows that when you go do a Google search, you have like the top 2 that come up are paid for positions. You pay dearly for that. And then off to the side, there are the pay-per-click ones. And then there's banners on the top. And most everybody knows that those are all paid advertising. It's the organic stuff on the bottom that's coming up based on a bunch of different things. How good of a website you have, how relevant it is, how often it's updated, on and on and on and on. But reviews play a big part in that, especially if reviews are written directly into Google. Now, another thing that I do is on my website, everybody puts reviews on their website, right? One of my customers said blah, 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 all right? Well, anybody could write that, So it could be just that your reviews on your website are telling people that I think I'm fantastic, but they don't really care about that. They want to know that other people think I'm fantastic. So I hired a company called Customer Lobby. And what they do is they manage my reviews for my website, and it's integrated with their website. So how that works is if you go to my website, a little plug for me, pestcontrolnaturally.com, and you look down in the corner, bottom left corner, you'll see reviews. And it'll say that, there's 60 some reviews there. Well, they can click on that, and what that'll do is it'll take them off my website and onto Customer Lobby. So automatically people see, oh, this isn't just him sitting there writing reviews. This is a third-party company, right? And then they can write a review there. They can read all the reviews that are there. Now, you can put specials and stuff in, but I don't do that. I want everybody to pay full price. But if somebody does a search, if they say pest control companies, St. Petersburg reviews, then where are they going to end up? They're going to end up most likely at Customer Lobby, and they're going to come up with just the pest control companies in St. Petersburg that use Customer Lobby, and there I am, right? So that'll get them there. And they can also put in if they're looking for a quote, and then it'll just go straight to me as an email. Another thing you want to make sure you have is on your website is a place for them to request a quote, where they can just click and say, I'd like to receive a quote, or I'd like more information. And then at that point, you can also ask them, would you like to get on our mailing list? And then on our mailing list, we send out, newsletters. And you see how all this ties together. But I'll tell you, I have to guess at no less than 2 to 3 new customer inquiries that come in every single day to my company. And I'm just a little pest control company here in Pinellas County. And these people, when they call and they say, hey, I found you on the internet and your reviews are fantastic. And if I answer the phone, they go, oh, you're Michael. Oh my God. How is it that you walk on water? Because these reviews are so fantastic. Well, there's a little trick to all this. With Customer Lobby, they're not going to post bad reviews, okay? And what they do is I send them, half a dozen customers that we've serviced in the last month with their contact information, and they will call and say, we're with Customer Lobby, and we work, we're with Michael Piacenza and Advantage Pest Control, and we understand that you perform some services for you, and would you like to give them a review? Now they got them on the phone, people are like, well, yeah, I remember those guys, they were great, blah, blah, blah. And they send it over. And then it gets transcribed and put onto my reviews. So there's constantly, every month, I'm picking up at least 2 additional reviews. And, that's huge. Now, what you don't want is to end up with a bunch of reviews coming in the same day. So that leads us to where we're going with this alliance is if we've done business with each other, like David and I have done business. He did a survey for me for my logo and did a great job. So I can go write reviews for David. David's done work with me. But if we get this thing going round robin, where David's done work for somebody else has done it for another person in the alliance, and we all start writing reviews for each other on a regular basis, you will be amazed. I mean, absolutely amazed at the impact. So, is there anything more you'd like me to expound on, David?
Well, I'd like to just see over in the chat box what people think of this idea of helping each other with reviews.
Yeah, I mean, in these different networking groups that I've been involved with, where we have done a lot of business within the group with each other, it was relatively easy for us to write reviews. If you go to some of these networking groups like BNI, you must go to every meeting. You must have a referral or do a one-on-one. And there's some of these groups are going to the point where it's like, or write a review for somebody. That's how important it is. It is as important as doing a one-on-one with somebody in your networking group.
Excellent. Well, if you look over at that chat box, I think everybody loves the idea. And so would you like to know the first way that I think that we should start implementing this?
I'd love to hear it.
All right. Well, allow me to introduce something new. And I'm going to then put this up on my screen. See if I can make this work here. Let me share this screen. And this is the CBS Marketing Alliance and Mastermind Facebook page. Welcome. Almost all of you are members already. Beth Thompson put this together for us. And I went through yesterday and invited all of you, either by email or by just simply inviting you in because you're Facebook friends of mine. And we are going to be putting in information about what we need and want. And like in the case of Michael might write something in here that anybody that's done business with me, I could sure use a couple of good reviews right now in Google because some former employee went on there and blasted me or whatever the case might be. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you put that in there, and if we check that every week or every couple of days or something like that, and we see, hey, Michael needs a hand, then we can go in there and write something up for Michael. If, let's say that Laura or Joel or somebody is just getting started, or Jonathan Arn doesn't have much in the way of reviews and so forth, all right, well, go in there and put some nice things in there about it. Now, Jonathan Arn is up in Pennsylvania. He's in historic restoration and different kinds of manufacturing that relate to construction. And so some people may be unfamiliar with that. And so it's going to take a little bit of create to work out how we can do something beneficial for Jonathan. So part of that's going to need to be on Jonathan's part, and part of that will be on my part. Part of it can be some of the experienced entrepreneurs that we have on board going, here's something that could work. Bang, bang, bang. I've known Jonathan for a while, and I think that he's very honest and bright and so forth, and I would highly recommend him as somebody to do business with. Even something as simple as that could help take a former employee that got fired and whatever they had to say and move that down in the listings. You understand what I'm talking about there?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any experience with that kind of thing, Michael?
Yeah, I had a case with Angie's List where I serviced the customer, and when I left, I mean, the woman was tickled pink. Just moved to the area. I spent some extra time with her, and I said, where do you like to eat? I can recommend some restaurants and some stores and that kind of stuff. And I said, look, I do a lot of networking. If you have any questions about services that you need, don't hesitate to give me a call. Well, she shared that with her husband. He thought I was coming on to her, and he then wrote me a bad review in her name and gave me an F. And when you're trying to get an A rating, an F sets you back tremendously. So I had to go into hyperdrive. First, if that ever happens to you with somebody like Angie's List, you need to go in and respond to it. And don't go tit for tat with them. Don't meet their tone level, right? Come in a little higher, a lot higher, And so I just said, wow, my first bad review, and I'm startled. I remember this customer; she was thrilled when I left, and I addressed some of the specific questions. Right then, I just went into hyperdrive with trying to get more people to write reviews, and eventually it moved that one down. And as I started getting more and more A's, my rankings started going back up again. But it takes sometimes years if you don't have a team like this that can come in and flood over top of it. It really took me 2 years to get back to an A rating. That's how much that can hurt.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I've seen that. I actually had a client that I don't know whether I'll tell the whole story today, but I'll at least mention. I had this client that was a very good guy, had the best product in his entire industry. He was number one in the industry. And he got some people in his organization that, and some of his students as well, who got offended at his religious affiliation. And so therefore decided to attack him on the basis of his religion, and went on and tried to alienate as many staff and students as possible, and So before long, if you went onto the first page of Google, he might have one listing down at number 7 or number 9 or something, and all the others on the first couple pages were very nasty, or sometimes it would be something having nothing to do with it. But he basically controlled almost nothing out of the entire Google landscape. And you can imagine what that would do to your business if that was your problem. So we came in and did a lot of very creative things. And today, if you take a look at this man's name or the name of this company, we totally control the first 3 pages of Google. The first comment, unpleasant comment, occurs either down at the bottom, page 3, or on page 4. So that took a tremendous amount of work and a lot of organization, but we did it. That's the basic point. And he is not only still number 1 in his industry, he's I don't know, larger than everybody else in his whole industry combined, and he's continuing to make a lot of progress and doing a lot of other projects. So it's one of those things that even a very difficult and gnarly situation can be addressed and handled if you know what you're doing and you're applying some technology and you use some help from your friends. So that's why I added the word alliance in here, because it's one thing to sit down and listen to some great people. You can do that all over YouTube. You can do that with a lot of other systems and marketing gurus and things like that. I believe that some of the people that we have speaking and some of the topics covered and so forth are the best available. But I think that in today's environment, we have to do above and beyond. And what we need to do is help one another be able to overcome any barriers that we run into and work as a team to move us all up. And if there's somebody that is a part of the team that does a lousy job or is a liability to the team, then that also has to be addressed and handled so that we can have total confidence in one another and back each other up. But that, I think, can be done, and I was inspired in this regard from a program that I'm working on at the present time called Amazing Selling Machine, where I went in partly to learn more about how marketing of products is done in today's environment. And I'm writing this book, Marketing Strategies That Work, and I want to know what are the best marketing strategies on the planet. And so this, I think, is one of the best strategies and best organized groups. And this is one of the things that they have is an alliance that where they come to bat for each other and help each other out in situations where there's very heavy review-oriented activity, like on Amazon. And so I want to set us up in such a fashion to do that. And this first effort here is something that was put up for us, as I say, by Beth Thompson. Thank you very much, Beth, for doing it. I would like for us to, everybody to log in over the next week, play around with it, post something up there, and get familiar with it. If somebody has a particular need, go ahead and put it up there, and let's start getting a little bit of experience. As we get a little more sophisticated, we will work out ways in which, let's say Michael comes on and does sees some needs and does 3 or 4 reviews for people. And let's just pick on Dr. Matt for a second. Let's say Dr. Matt doesn't do a darn thing. Well, when Michael needs something, we need to be oriented as a group to go, well, Michael's helped the group a lot. Let's put some extra horsepower in his direction. And when Dr. Matt comes up and says, I need a hand, well, we can say, great, Dr. Matt, why don't you write a few reviews for some folks and we'll give you a hand. Make sense?
Yeah. Most definitely. It reminds me of the story of there was two naval officers that went through the academy together, and they both were smart guys, but they didn't graduate top of their class, and they didn't have a stellar career as far as Purple Hearts and Medals of Honor or anything. But these two guys really, really went up through the ranks, and they were at a party together, and a couple of other guys asked them, well, you two have done really great. What's been the key? And they said, well, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the things was we made a pact back in the academy that if anybody ever brought up the other individual, they would talk about them glowingly. And I tell you, I have repeated that story with people that I've worked close with in different businesses, and we've made that pact. And it said, look, we'll never, ever speak poorly of each other. We'll only speak highly. And it was amazing how it affected our careers.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a pretty easy pact. So I would like to recommend that people introduce themselves a bit and get acquainted a bit with the other members of our team here. And in order to get to this page, all you have to do is go to your Facebook page. Most of you are already members of it, and you can just look in your groups that you're a member of. Let's get acquainted. All right, so I'm going to post that. Now, key question. Do we have any questions for Michael or myself in regards to this whole launch of our alliance? Type something in, or you can unmute yourself and ask verbally. Good. So it looks like it's fairly clear. All right. Well, one of your assignments will be to go there and get some experience and put up some notes of things that you need if you can think of something. Let's try to help each other during the coming week. And so I would like to move on to Joel. He's got a short presentation on the subject of landing pages. And this is a very fascinating subject, of course, landing pages, as you all know. As I hustled, I didn't find his picture fast enough, so I apologize for not having that ready to roll, but I'm going to stop the screen share, and Joel, if you could grab the baton here, and I'd love to see what you have to say. I'm going to make you the host.
All right. Are you folks seeing my screen now?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Okay, so we're going to do a presentation on landing pages today. So the original definition of a landing page was simply any page that you landed on when you click the link on some other page. But it's become more a matter when discussing in the realm of marketing and advertising. It's more common to refer to a landing page as being a standalone web page distinct from your main website. And that's really one of the key differences. It's standalone and separate from the rest of your website. And it's been designed for a single focused objective. This means that your landing page should have no global navigation, so it doesn't have all the navigation, your home and about buttons and whatnot, on it to the primary website. The main reason for this is to limit the options available to your visitors, helping to guide them toward your intended conversion goal. So every landing page, you want to get something. You want to get a name, you want to sell a product, whatever it is. We'll get into that. So you want to convert them into a prospect or a sale. So here's just we're going to go through in more detail the different elements of a landing page, but here's a real simple landing page. You'll notice that there's no navigation at the top, and it just has some very straightforward sales copy and call to action. So there are a lot of elements, even though it's not a whole web page in the sense of like another page on your website. It is a web page, but not like that. But it does have very specific elements that I want to go through. So the first one is a strong headline. It's one of the first things visitor will read. The landing page headline should not confuse or bore, but compel a visitor to take a closer look. So on this particular landing page, the title is "We Sell Homes Fast." If you're in the market to sell a home, that's a good headline for you to be reading. And then if you have any sub-headlines and ad copy, and all of those have to complement each other. They have to follow. So the headline's 10 best practices, the sub-headline for website testing, targeting, optimization, and then the sub-headline featuring 10 techniques, and then you get into the ad copy. So everything's consistent. You want to make sure your grammar and your spelling is correct. That's always important. But when on a landing page, you're trying to create some trust and get somebody to do something. And if you have spelling errors or grammar errors, like this one down here, 2 hours or it's free, and misspelled and incorrect grammar there. So not a good idea, not a good introduction. Next one is they take advantage of trust indicators. This is also known as social proof. It can be testimonials, reviews, press mentions, guarantee seals, and party endorsements. Over on the left, I've got a landing page there, and then I blew up certain portions of it. So you have the as seen on TV, trust for people that trust television. But if you're big enough to be, I think in general people's minds, if you're big enough to be on TV, then there's a certain amount of substance to your business and trust. And then down at the bottom, they put some other more important logos. The eTrust, eVerified, and Norton Secured, which have to do generally with e-commerce and security of those. They got the U.S. They're selling gold, so they've got a U.S. Mint logo on there. Why that particular one, I don't know, but they've got it on there, and the Better Business Bureau. So you can do this on your landing pages. Find something that gives further trust and lets people know that you're a good person to do business with. And then you want to have a strong call to action. After a visitor reads the landing page headline, it's crucial that they know what to do next. In the case of Mozilla Firefox, which is a browser, when they changed their call to action from try Firefox 3 to download it now free, it outperformed the original call by about 4% and had a confidence level resulting in 500 more downloads. So in this particular one, their call to action is try it now. So it's very positive, direct action, so the person knows what to do. And then your buttons and call to action should stand out. So that's a design issue. You want them to kind of jump off the page so the person knows where to find it. You don't want to hide them because it's all the same font or same color. So in this particular case, the Get Started Today button is in a different color and becomes obvious that that's what you need to push. And that one, their call to action statement and button is all in the one thing together. Then go easy on the links. So this is back to the point, you don't want to have all of your website navigation there. This is a landing page that's stuck just on a regular web page, and you see how distracting it is. They've got log in up at the top right, create an account, shopping cart, do a search, all the navigation items for the whole website, and then they have their start shopping, get your $10 off coupon there. So this is not the way to do a landing page because it's too distracting and it's not clear what the purpose is. Use relevant images and videos. Implementing motivational speeches, videos of user testimonials, and product images into a landing page can have a positive impact on it, as well as give shoppers an extra push to look further into a product. This particular landing page is for a charitable organization where they tie in with restaurants. So if you eat at the restaurant, then a portion of your cost of the dinner goes to an animal shelter in Los Angeles. So it's a good image because it ties into the whole thing, and then they have some graphics down at the bottom that communicate as well. Keep it above the fold. So from newspaper terminology, the newspaper got folded, so the top half of the page above the fold was much more important than the bottom half. So you want to do the same thing on your landing pages where you've got over on the left, you see they have the red "Do It Now" call to action button is in the top half, whereas on the right, it's kind of sliding off the screen, so it's not going to be as obvious. And you want to make sure that that it is obvious and it stays up at the top. Then always be testing, A/B testing. You want to try.
Hello, you just called me about showing my house 16727.net.
Two different versions of.
So do you want to show it at 11?
Landing page, and all they change
the thing is that if you want to show it at 11, I'm here. I'm not letting people see the house unless I'm here because I have dogs.
I'm going to do only one change.
So, but you'd have to be done by 11.
Joel, you're going to need to mute that.
I
gave you the host hat.
Okay.
Maria, can you mute your phone, your thing, please?
It's almost 11 o'clock right now.
I'm not seeing where I mute everybody
11 o'clock
else.
is in 8 minutes.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can come by like at 2 o'clock. I'll be here.
I'm sorry.
And oh, I see it now.
Okay, good.
Can you still hear me? Okay, good. All right. So A/B testing. You want to try your landing page, and you want to try it in two different versions, but only one difference. So in this case, it was the color. You might want to do two different headlines, two different ad copies, but you don't try and do two very different versions because you're not going to know what's creating the better or worse results. And then now there's some other terminology you may hear when in relation to landing pages. One is a squeeze page, and they're both refinements and different purposes or refined purposes for a landing page, but they are both landing pages. So a squeeze page is a landing page created to solicit opt-in email addresses from prospective subscribers. Pretty much all of the examples I showed you were squeeze pages from that standpoint, where you're trying to get an identity and record it and be able to do further promotion and put them into your sales funnel. In the field of direct marketing, the subscriber list is considered the most important part of a mailing campaign. Marketers devote a great deal of time and money to collecting a list of highly targeted subscribers as a result. A highly targeted list of email subscribers allows the owner to market their product and service with a fairly high probability of success. To ease consumer concern experienced online, businesses create squeeze pages that detail the business's privacy standards and what the subscriber will receive. So those are other things you can put on your landing page if you think it's appropriate. And here's a squeeze page. Like I said, similar to what we've seen, they've got the header up at the top. They have all the various elements. They have, in this case, some of their logos of some of their customers. So again, creating that trust factor. And then they've got the sign up, and all they're asking for is name and email address, and then if you want to put in any comments, but they're collecting identities at this point. And then you've got a pre-sell page, and this is often, it's a landing page that sets your prospect up to buy by providing valuable information in a non-salesy way. So let's say you're selling a physical product and you run a Facebook ad or a LinkedIn ad or whatever it might be, and that you created a good Facebook ad and they're going to click on it, but you don't want them to go directly to the page that shows your product because you may not have a lot of control over that, or it's just because it's in a shopping cart. So there's limited information on the product. So what you want to do is have them click on the Facebook ad and come to a pre-sell page like this. Now, it can be, you can do an article here. There's different theories and different ideas, but the idea is you drive them to a page on your website that is very controlled, and you can do all kinds of ad copy and sales copy. You can do videos, you can do testimonials, all those things that will really sell the customer. And then when they click buy now, they're ready to buy. And so then they go and they buy. So you have a much greater chance of actually selling your product if you run them through a pre-sell page. So just in review, the elements: strong headline, clear subheadlines and ad copy, impeccable grammar and spelling, take advantage of trust indicators, use a strong call to action, and the buttons and call to action should stand out. Go easy on the links. Don't have all of your whole website navigation in there. Use relevant images and videos. Keep it all above the fold, and always be testing. Just as a sideline, I'm in the middle of reading a book on copywriting, and all of these elements that are part of a good landing page are exactly the same elements that have been classically in good ads. The guy that wrote the book is, if you remember the blue blocker sunglasses or the old JSNA ads in different magazines and whatnot, where they would be full page and it would be lots of text, but he has a very specific formula and was extraordinarily successful in selling. And those are really the same elements that are on a landing page. I'll send this list, I'll send the whole slide deck or the PowerPoint presentation to David. But there's some examples here. And there's also, you don't always have to just call up your web designer and say, create a landing page. There's actually services out there that you can sign up for. And that's all they do is they create landing pages. And so then you tie in your website to it, and and they're experts at it, and they will put all of those or make sure all of those elements are in there for you as part of their service. That's all I've got. Does anybody have any questions? And let me find the chat here. I'm going to stop share here.
Go over the last slide or show.
I'm sorry.
Can you go over that last slide one more time? The one with the pinpoints, I guess.
Oops.
You can back up one. There you are.
That one?
Yeah. And then I will be sending this out to you, but the idea, strong headline, sub-headlines, and ad copy, impeccable grammar and spelling, advantage of the trust indicators, all these things are, there's a list of them, but after you get familiar with them, then they just become a habit. You always want to have a strong headline, obviously. You're going to have a good, these just become obvious to you after a while, and like riding a bike. So we'll be working on making these things very clear and useful for us. All right, good. So if you want to turn control back over to me, Joel, I will then wrap us up and move on out. See, and I will answer one question here. What keeps it above the fold? You missed that? Well, basically, it's just make sure that all the key elements are, when somebody goes to your website, regardless of pretty much what size screen they have, they're going to be able to see all those key elements, particularly the take action elements, without having to scroll down. Above the fold means without scrolling on the internet. All right, good. We'll get some nice comments here on Joel's presentation. Thanks very much. And so let's just wrap this up here. The key question being, what should I do this week? Well, obviously, one of the key things to do this week is we want to have everybody go ahead and test out and start using this this whole Facebook idea and start asking for help and providing help for one another. And let's give this a little bit of a test. And also, if you are going to be marketing something, I would recommend that you go ahead and look into this whole idea of a landing page. If you've been doing it, take a look at what you're doing and make sure that you're doing the best possible job, and use what you learned. We'll be asking about that. So any last questions here on the subject for me, Michael, or Joel?
I have a quick question for Joel.
Okay.
Regarding Yodel. I mean, Yodel is all about landing pages. That's what they're selling, is a whole marketing program based on landing pages. What are your thoughts on that?
I've never heard of that one, so unfortunately I can't help you. I'll take a look at it later and give you my thoughts. But obviously, landing pages are important, and any of the companies that are specializing in that, I would imagine, would be fairly good to give a try and see how they do for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Unmute yourself and ask away. Or if the speakers see this on the chat box, my chat box has disappeared for some reason. If somebody sees it, we'll go ahead and speak out, and let's ask the questions. Going once, going twice. All right, then. Here's the orders. Do it this week. Let's get it done. Let's make 2015 the best year ever. And that brings us to the end of our presentation today. Thank you very much to Michael. Thank you very much to Joel for great presentations. And thank you all for being part of this alliance. I think it's going to be the start of a nice improvement, quite in addition to what you're doing, the positive steps you're taking to improve your own marketing. To now have a team that can do some things that you simply cannot do yourself. That's part of the overall strategy. And it's my hope and idea that this will be fabulous for all of us. So with that said, I'm going to end up wrapping this up and see if there's anything else. Any other questions, comments? Okay, looks like it's a wrap. So I'll be ending the recording now. The others of you that are recording, go ahead and do that as well.